Hello, today we are going to discuss and illustrate the difference between active and passive voice. Let's observe the following sentence first. The teacher teaches students. Let's try to identify the parts of speech of this sentence. The teacher is the subject, teaches the verb, the students is the object. This is called an active voice, an active sentence, which means it's a regular sentence begins with the doer of the action, the subject, followed by the verb, followed by the object. So, an active voice is a normal and regular. Let's now try to understand the difference between active voice and passive voice. In passive voice, we use the passive when we are interested in the object or when we don't know who caused the action. We can only form a passive sentence from an active sentence when there is an object in the active sentence, which is mainly with verb object, transitive verbs. Transitive and intransitive verbs, we can change a sentence into passive if only if the verb is transitive one, which means no change into passive is possible if the verb in the sentence is intransitive. Let's illustrate as an examples. Ahmed earned the promotion. They saw the accident. Let's observe the two verbs here. We have the verb earned with the object the promotion, and we have the verb saw and the object the accident. These two verbs are transitive verbs. Why? Since the meaning doesn't convey full meaning unless we have an object. Ahmed earned. You ask yourself, what did Ahmed earn? He earned the promotion. They saw. What did they see? The accident. So these two verbs always need an object to convey a meaning. Whereas in intransitive, let's observe, a problem occurred. There's no need for an object. They arrived late. So we have in these couple sentences subject and verb. There is no need for an object. So the transitive verb is a verb, it needs an object, whereas intransitive verb, a verb that doesn't need an object. Now let's try to understand how to form a passive sentence when an active sentence is given. First thing you have to do is to identify the parts of speech, then put the object of the active sentence in the subject position, which means at the beginning of the sentence, then replace the active verb with be plus past participle form of the verb. Later, you have to put the subject using by plus subject at the end of the sentence. Now we are see the form in real. So as you can see, the form then is object at the beginning, followed by verb to be, followed by the past participle form of the main verb, followed by, and the subject. Whereas, let's have an example and switch it together. My father builds a house. My father builds a house. Identify first thing you said, you have to identify the parts of speech. Father is the subject, builds the verb, a house is the object. We said we have to identify first the parts of speech, then you have to replace the object with the subject. Okay, so a house is transferred from the end of the sentence to the beginning of the sentence. Then we take father in the place of the house, adding before it, as in the rule, the by, preposition by. And the verb is changed into verb to be plus past participle. How to choose verb to be? According to the object I put. A house, what does it take? It takes a, is, or was, and the verb is in simple present. It have an s, so it takes is. So the sentence becomes, a house is built by my father. Let's try to observe more sentences with more tenses. Simple present tense, as the one we have just discussed, the active sentence here, cars burn fuel. Cars burn fuel. Is the verb transitive or intransitive? Yes, it is transitive. It needs an object which is a fuel. So, subject, verb, and object. And the verb is in simple present. So, it becomes fuel is burned by cars. Fuel is burned by cars. I used fuel at the beginning. Burn is changed into is burned. The verb to be plus past participle form of the verb by and the subject which is by cars. These two sentences convey the same meaning. The meaning is unchanged. Many students use computer. This is an active sentence. Many students subject use the verb. Computers is the object. So this sentence is in simple present with a transitive verb use, which is followed by the object computers. It is a change into passive by putting the word computer, which is an object, at the beginning. Verb to be, the main verb is changed into verb to be plus past participle form of the verb, which is are. Since computers is an plural, it takes are, followed by past participle, then by many students, and they convey the same meaning. Now, if we have a simple past tense, the same rule is conferred, but let's see what's the difference. The carpenter sanded the wood. Here the verb sanded is in past. It is a regular form of the verb. What did the carpenter sand? He sanded the wood, so it needs an object which is the wood. In order to switch, we take the wood at the beginning. Since it is in the past, we have to add either was or were, which is the past form of verb to be, and we choose because would is in singular form, followed by past participle form, and in the case of regular verb, it is the same as past, followed by plus carpenter. They convey the same meaning. Simple past tense. Also, the squirrel gathered the nuts. Gathered, past, it's changed into the nuts were gathered by the squirrel. Here, nuts were. Why? Since nuts is the plural, we take were, the plural form of verb to be, plus the past participle, and etc. Both sentences have the same. Now, if we have the simple future tense, the voters will determine the election results. Let's try to see the difference. Here will determine. What will they determine? The election. So it is a transitive verb that needs an object. It can be changed into passive form. Here we have another rule. We have to put will be. We inserted the verb to be as is, since will is followed by verb stem. So we have put the verb to be as is, followed by the past participle. So the election results will be determined by the voters. They convey the same meaning. Now for the present progressive tense, she's writing a book. Here is writing, it is a simple present progressive tense, followed by a book, which is the object. It can be changed. Here the rule will change a little bit. We usually add verb to be in specific form according to the tense. In a present progressive, the verb is changed into be, being. The ing are taken from the main verb, inserted to be, then followed the past participle form of the verb. So the sentence becomes, a book is being written by her. So the pronoun have to change from subject pronoun into object pronoun, and they convey the same meaning. He's taking photos. He's taking photos. The same. He's taking is present progressive tense. Photos is the object in the sentence. Let's try to see the difference here. Photos, since it is a plural, it takes are. The is a change into are depending on the object of the sentence. Photos are being taken by him. As we said, subject pronoun have to be changed into objective pronoun by the end of the sentence. So present progressive passive form is am or is or I, am or is or are plus being plus the past participle form of the verb. So, as we said, the simple present and simple past is verb to be past form in is, are, was or were plus the past participle. For the present progressive, it is changed into am, is or are plus being plus past participle. Let's continue. Now for the past progressive tense, the great teams were playing football. Here we have the verb were playing, which is the past progressive tense, and it is transitive since we need to know what are they playing, where they playing. It's football, so it is changed into passive by football. The were here is changed into was. Why? Since football is singular. Was, we said it's plus being plus past participle, so being played by two great teams. They have meaning. Now let's have other sentence. Sarah was eating candies. The same was eating is the past progressive tense end of the sentence, followed by candies, which is the object. The sentence becomes candies were. Here was is changed into were since candies is plural. Candies were being eaten by Sarah. Let's try have a look at the other rule, present perfect tense. My brother has turned on the TV. Here, as you can see, we have has, turned. It is present perfect tense form, has plus past participle. How is it changed? Let's observe together. The TV has been turned on by my brother. So, the TV has been turned on by my brother. What did his brother do? He turned on the TV. Here you have to pay attention that on is, uh, is accompanied with the verb turn. It's not a prepositional phrase with the TV. The TV here is the object. So here we have taken the has turned and changed it into has been turned. Why we added been? Since has or the present perfect, the rule is has or have plus past participle form of the verb, and the past participle form of the verb to be is been. They have both sentences the same meaning. Bilal has printed the photos. Photos here is the object. It is in a plural form. Let's see what will change. The photos have been printed by Bilal. The photos, since it is plural, we added have instead of has. And the same past participle of verb to be plus past participle of the verb. So have been printed. Meaning. Now for the past perfect tense, I had eaten my breakfast or I had eaten breakfast. Let's see how it will change. Breakfast, the object at the beginning, had eaten, the past perfect tense. We said in perfect tense, past, whether it is present, we have to add been. So had been eaten. Why had isn't changed since the past tense doesn't care for the uh, number of the object or subject. It is the same for both. Now, in case we have modal auxiliaries, how to change them? Lena will send it. Becomes it will be sent by Lena or Len. Sorry, Len will send it. It will be sent by Len. Len will send it or can send it. It can be sent by Len. Here, as you can see, will be, can be. Len must send it. It must be sent by Len. Len may send it. It may be sent by Len. So we conclude that modal auxiliary plus be plus past participle, as you can see. Modal auxiliary plus be plus past participle of the verb. Let's try to have an exercise here. Identify the parts of speech in each sentence that change from active into passive. Try to solve these couple of sentences. They are so easy to be solved. The cat feeds that little kitten. The cat is the subject. Feeds is the verb. Little kittens is the object. How to be changed? We take little kittens at the beginning. Feeds is simple present ends with an S, and kittens is a plural, it takes R. Past participle of feed, fed, by, and the subject by the cat. Second sentence. My father built our house. My father is the subject. Built is the verb. Our house is the object. We take the object at the beginning, followed by verb to be here built. It's the simple past. It's either was or were. So we added was since it is house singular. Then past participle built by subject by my father.